Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. We're doing that here again and again at the Career Education Conference, put on by our great friends at the Career Education College and University Group. That's CEC or CQ, depending on how you want to say it. Of course, my name is Dr. Joe Salucio. It's the first time I've introduced myself today after 3 podcasts where I'm just hoping everybody knows my voice by now. I've done enough of these, but not enough podcasts celebrating the great work that our colleagues do in the career college sector. And that's why we're here. We really want to celebrate this sector of higher education and give some light to the great work that's being done. Of course, with me by my side, he's Douglas Carlson. He is head of partnerships at Lead Squared, and he jacked up my microphone that I can't seem to fix. Douglas, welcome, and then I'm going to kick you off in a minute if you touch my mic again.
I think that's fair. Just for everyone's sake, I literally just kicked the mic off the desk. It was not great.
It was not great, and I can't seem to get it back where it is. So if it falls, you need to take over this episode with these amazing guests that we have and do as well or better than I do. Fair enough?
Deal.
All right, that's Douglas, everybody. Let's bring in our guests right now. We're going to bring them one at a time. This gentleman, has he ever done a podcast, or but he's done some voiceover work, it sounds like, or at least...
First-time caller.
First-time caller. Here he is. He's Mike Lanouette. He's the VP of Administration at Centura College. You like this beat, Mike?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
How are you? Welcome to the podcast.
Well. Thank you.
You brought another gentleman. Actually, I think maybe he brought you. I don't know how it works.
No, he brings me everywhere.
The honor is mine.
All right, here we go. Let's get him in here, too.
There he is. Here he comes.
Let me give him something. Give him something good.
Yeah, give me something
huge.
good.
Something huge?
Fireworks.
I feel like I'm the Dr. Dre of admissions.
All right.
Aftermath, though.
Oh.
He's Charlie Parker. He's Chief Branding and Enrollment Officer at Centura College. What's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
How you doing?
Welcome to the EdUp podcast, Charlie. Again for now or for a second time. The last time we interviewed you was literally in the middle of COVID. It was a while back.
I think I wore a mask even though we were on mics.
I think that's very possible you could.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've ever seen your face.
That's right.
You're a
That's
good-looking
right.
dude, man.
That's right.
Guys, set the tone for us. Tell us about Centura College. Whoever would like to go first?
You know, I'm going to give that to Mike. He does it so well.
Oh, thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome, Mike.
So, Centura College, Tidewater Tech, and Aviation Institute of Maintenance. We have 20 campuses all the way from Florida to California, and just excited to be part of this.
Yeah.
Amazing.
What kind of students you serve? Tell us a little bit about what the type of student, how you serve them, that kind of thing.
I mean, the classic response is the underemployed and the unemployed. But I always like to say we're a school of second chances. You know, the students
like that.
The major universities aren't really interested in, but the backbone of the backbone of the country, the backbone of the technicians.
You said it before.
Excellent.
Thank
So
you.
I brought that one for you.
Thank you.
Douglas.
I like that.
And and forgive me, you may know the stat off the top of your head, but I've seen it as something like if you've flown on a plane in the United States, a member of the AIM family that you've educated has probably worked on that plane. Is that fair?
Say it our way. We work on that statement.
We're working on a new marketing, which is a real marketing a slogan which says, "Try flying without us."
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Get ready.
A little edgy?
Yikes!
Right? But yeah, man, you got 1 in 4 chance keeping that bird in the air as one of our guys.
Yeah.
That's incredible. 25%.
That's corner, literally corner of the market.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 25%.
25%.
Wow. That 25% that will be working on the plane, or 25% that won't be
In that workforce.
in the workforce.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's an incredible stat.
I mean, it's niche driven, right? I mean, we definitely serve the trade population. We have a little allied health on our other brands, but
I mean, we're getting to a point now where you never expected it, where the airlines are calling us, going, "We need you. We need your help."
That's interesting. We were just talking to a gentleman before, and I said, one of the most interesting shifts that has happened for career colleges as of late, I don't know what year maybe, is there was a hustling that would have to happen, right? You got to get the placements. Let's call this place. Let's call that place. We need to get the placements. We got to get, and now it's reversing. And, companies cannot find workers, so they're reaching out to the colleges now to say, "Can you produce this workforce for us?"
Yeah.
Have you seen that shift?
It's a little more bizarre than that. What's happening is, like I say, the major airlines are calling us, and we're saying, "Well, you guys have training facilities." "Yeah, I know, but we need you guys to train our people." It's bizarre.
You know what's also interesting, and I don't know what you think about Mike, and I was talking to someone last night, and Douglas, you may have been with us, But right now, we are
you
the
fuzzy
shiny...
on the conversation, by the way?
Fuzzy? No
Is that-
fuzz.
no, okay.
Anti-fuzz. It's because he kicked your mic earlier, and that was fun to watch. But we're the shiny object now. Before, it was Publix. And now, media, people, parents, educated buyers wanting outcomes. I mean, I feel like we're in the driver's seat for the first time for all the right reasons in the industry that we serve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And I'm wondering, are you? And my guess is the answer is yes, but I'd be interested to hear it from your words. Is trades have historically not been maybe like the coolest thing. So there's both ends of the spectrum, right? Like there's the industry that's just demanding your students, but on the student front, it was kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to go into the trades. I'm getting pushed into this 4-year world, whether I want it or not. It seems like that has changed. So
big time.
I'm really curious about the experience of that. Like, what are students saying? What do you seeing from them?
Yeah, when I went to high school, you know, I had good GPA
When was
and
that?
all that.
When was
I remember back in the day.
when you were barefoot and walking down a hill in snow
roamed
and
to high schools.
Are you kidding me?
You got a good GPA. You're what we used to call college prep. You're going to university.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have good GPA, you went to the other school. We called it Vo-Tech back then.
Yep.
And they don't call it Vo-Tech now, but they still go on a bus and they go somewhere else. Well, these students now are going, and I was the smart one. Those were the dumb ones or the slow ones. But now you're finding out the smart ones are going to university. They're spending $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 for a degree.
Doesn't sound smart.
And
with no outcomes.
And they're working at TGIF, and the dumb ones, the slow ones, are going to a 9-month program in welding or HVAC or construction trades or aviation, and they're making $80,000 right off the bat. So, you know, who's the slow one now?
Yeah. You know, and I think of remember in high school, maybe you guys were already there, but the cool table.
Well, I was always at the cool table.
I figured that. You were
Come
always
on
at the
now.
cool table. You were throwing tater tots. Yeah.
I was.
So the cool table was more traditional based, you know,
Yeah.
UVA, James Madison, or wherever your locale is, state school, even private, but on the nonprofit side. Now the cool table is switched. Trades is cool. It's got a pizzazz. It's
You
like
just said that before today. Trades
Yeah.
are cool.
You said
yeah,
pizzazz?
thank you. That's my trademark, so royalties are given.
I'll send you a few
try
bucks.
flying without us.
Just knock his mic off.
But you know what I mean, though? It's like I call it the preppy skater now. It's like the dress, the things that go with it. People are starting to understand, hey, I can do this. I can be different, and I'm going to value that and take a part of that. And I think parents are a little bit... That generation's gone, and now we're getting younger. So, yeah, man, there's a huge cool factor to it, too.
There's an elevated cost consciousness that's driving it too. Like, you know, look, I don't want debt. I'm going to get something in the trades. Maybe I'll earn my way to my degree if I want to go get that later.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to pay it as I go instead of incurring all this debt. And so do you think that students have their radar for costs is much
well more conscious
sensitive?
than that. In fact, there's been a lot of studies done now. I mean, even spending money, just going to lunch or hanging out with their friends, there's a lot of people seem to have more fiduciary responsibility than before and conscious of it. But they want to get into a career and have good balance in life. And trades can do that for them in various ways. You know, me, political science, I mean, you get your book and limo drivers at the top and some other things, and you're like, I didn't want to do that. That's not something I was interested in. And now they can find their niche. They can be outdoors. They can rub shoulders with people they like, get their thing. It's just, it's cool to be in this industry as long as we have and see the involvement in what's happened.
Well, go ahead. Joe.
No. You go.
Well, and I'm really curious, and forgive me. This is also, you know, a little bit my aviation nerdiness, so forgive my digression
Wait
here.
for
But
it.
No, general nerdiness.
yeah,
That's
yes, I
it.
think
Yeah,
general
just
nerdiness as well. Yeah.
And continual.
There's no sound effects for that.
Oh man, that should be.
I got all
that
sorts of
should
stuff
be.
for him.
Can you walk me through a day in the life of a technician? What is school look like for them as far as how often they go, how long that program is, where are their options? You know, it sounds like a lot of the major carriers. What do they make? I just would be really curious to kind of paint that picture.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the program is it's basically designed by the FAA. You have to have certain requirements. So our particular program is 21 months.
Okay.
Some schools are a little shorter, some are a little bit longer, but to get all the requirements, the competencies that the FAA requires, takes about 21 months. And then they learn pretty much everything you can about an aircraft. We call it airframe, which is kind of the outside of it.
Yep.
And then power plant, which is the engines. But you got mechanical, you got pneumatic, you got hydraulic, electrical. You get all of it.
More than you would ever know.
More than you would ever know.
That's incredible. Well, I also love the 21 months because you're like, and it's under 2 years. That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and and then the next step as well. So what airlines are hiring? Probably all of them. Can people just, the school they go to, and you have a lot of schools near airports, do they just kind of move across the road and all start working? Are they going to new locations? What's that look like?
We've seen a shift in the last couple of years where a few years ago there were the private, smaller, regional airlines were picking them up because nobody's going to want somebody's fresh out of school working on their 777.
Sure. Yeah.
They don't want them working on that, and it takes time. But we're finding more and more now. The major airlines are starting to hire them because they need them. They need aircraft mechanics.
They can't find anybody.
They can't find them, so they're hiring them up. So our number one employer last year was Boeing.
No kidding.
And they visited every one of our campuses multiple times.
I mean, they're branding our schools. They are vested in us. And if you remember, I mean, you're a marketer. I feel like a lot of schools, they market their school in a narcissistic way. And it's not rude. It's just how it is, or their program. And we spent a conscious effort on talking about our partners and what you're going to be doing after, how you're going to be in the flight line. We're just a little blip in their career catapult type thing. And also, Mike, I want you to hit on welding. Let's not sleep on welding because at Hampton Roads, we've got some great things going on with welding, HVAC, and some other things. Yeah,
in Hampton Roads, it's amazing. Senator Kane, a few years ago, basically said they've got to build 300, ships in the next 10 years. And
who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it? We're working very, very closely with a lot of the shipyards there to provide as many welders as they need, and they need a bunch of them. Our school there, Tidewater Tech, has about 250 welding students.
250?
250 welding students going morning, afternoon, evening, weekends.
Dude, take that in. Around the clock.
Around the clock.
Welders.
Yeah.
That is incredible. What's a welder earn in one of these shipyards?
Yeah, I mean they can get 6 figures depending on what they're doing.
There's that you get like probably premium pay for the safety concerns.
Absolutely.
And
all of that.
Yeah.
And the female, you can't sleep on females with us in the traditional male-driven occupation. But we've made some great strides in breaking
really
that ceiling, and not only on the aviation side, but even on the welding, the HVAC, and the trade side. And it's really cool to see the acceptance, and they're pretty dang good too.
Yeah, they're fantastic. On the aviation side, I believe they say there's 2% of the aviation mechanics are females.
Oh wow! Okay.
And at our schools, 12% of the student population in aviation is females.
Oh, so that's incredible. You're hoping to close that gap.
Concerted effort. To
Where do you think
do
that comes from? That increase in female trade, skilled trade workers? Do you think there's just moms had their kids and say, hey, I want to go back to work, I'm going to get something in the skilled trade? Is it a 18-year-old that says I'm not going to college? Is it both? What kind of age group?
I think it's everywhere, man. I think we've done a really good job, and it's not we as in staff and faculty. I think the students have done a really good job, and the graduates, of talking about the programs, and it's gravitated across gender lines. I can think of 5 females that we have in Chicago, and their dads. Their dads were mechanics. Their dads were something. They had them in the shop, and now they're accepted in a way where it wasn't like, oh, you need to go to Cosmo or you need to do something like that. So I think there's a lot of variables, but I will give it to our graduates. Very accepting, very understanding, bringing them in. They do really good work. They're very conscientious in a different way than a male, so there's a give and take to that.
Yeah.
And it's just, from our perspective, especially being in the industry so long, it's really cool to see the evolvement, not involvement, but evolvement.
Do you think, to your point, and somebody said this earlier yesterday, I can't remember who it was, but I wonder if, do you believe social media has given part of the cool factor? Like, hey, I'm going to be welding this sucker. I'm putting it on TikTok. Watch me.
Yeah.
Look how stinking cool this looks. You get the views. Somebody goes, wow, that's pretty awesome, right? Put some music to it. It just changes the whole outlook.
Everything, man. We have gone from, PPL, PPC, pay per lead, pay per click for those digital and things like that. And we're trying to do less of that and more what I would call, there's pay involved, but I call it organic, unpaid, and give that real life of what you're going to be doing. And you have females, and let's face it, guys like going to school when females are there.
Sure.
So we have females for dual purpose. We're showing their outcomes, showing their work. They're in short form in 10 seconds. You've got a podcast. You're the Coke of podcasts. I'm kind of like the Diet Coke, or maybe sugar-free, I guess. But we have our own show. And the reason why we started for culture. And students are chiming in. They're saying, hey, I want to rub shoulders with you guys. You guys are not stuffy corporate guys that wear ties and suits and just come in and worry about numbers. You're out there mixing it with us, playing basketball with them, hanging out with them. So I think all that vibe is transcending down to that demo that we serve.
We talked about the cool factor, right? We talked about that. Aviation repair and maintenance sounds cool, but if you could see it, like if you could, get somebody on a camera doing it.
Yep.
And you're up on YouTube and you're going, hey man, look how cool this is. Look what I learned. That is the ultimate marketing, isn't it?
That's where they go. Go where the puck is, like in hockey.
Yeah.
You go where that was for the that was for
you,
brother. That's
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
you're welcome. But you go where they're at and show them the relevancy of that. You know what I mean? Gretzky, yeah.
Go where the puck is.
And then Mike's got a good thing only internal, like what we do, what we call, in the front end piece and using our hanger. Do you want to go into that a little bit? That we don't do the traditional, four white walls, a cat hanging from a tree that says hang on, and there's a computer in there to do your application. I mean, we've got a different philosophy with that.
We call them DHAs, daily hanger activities. You are in that lab, you are in that hangar every day. You're not just listening to somebody drone on about landing gear. You're actually working on landing gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the hands-on power of hands-on in this digital world still holds so much weight, doesn't it? I mean,
yes.
We talked about it in COVID, and what are you going to do? Who's going to do this? You're going online, you're going on ground. But there's just some things that you have to get your hands dirty, for lack of a better way to say it.
And I want to make a comment, Joe. During COVID, we made a deliberate choice. I was actually with a different school group right before I came on. That's when you and I first met. Really, was right there in COVID. Everybody, if you guys remember, reps were going remote. Classes remote. Everybody was like trying to pivot real quick. I am not exaggerating. We held the line. We still held interviews. We kept our percent to population based on states.
Yeah.
We did not deviate, and our enrollments were better than any colleague I talked to. And there's something to learn from that shiny object rush in doing these things. Stick to who you are. Like the other statement, you brought up. You got to know your audience. I mean, when they can start fixing planes remotely and through a video, then we'll change. But right now, that ain't going to happen. So.
Yeah, and you're not going to get on that plane, right?
Well, maybe some people will, but I'm sure not.
Douglas, you're on
too
it.
much. Well, and I'm also curious about what your growth looks like. It seems like there's so much opportunity in this space, and so much. And actually, even flipping it, there's so many students to serve. Do you have a growth trajectory? You're thinking international. Like what's the crystal ball look like for you for the next 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely in growth mode.
Yeah.
And all of our trades are showing it because there's, I haven't been to an airport now that isn't growing.
Tell them like it is.
Thank you. I haven't been.
I thought that was your voice.
I thought so too.
Really threw it, yeah.
No, I mean, you can't go to an airport that's not building another concourse. I mean, it's just
I suffer with that with DI every day.
Absolutely.
And deliberate growth too.
Yeah.
I mean, we are less interested, I'd say, Mike, than a bottom line or an EBITDA. We're more interested in serving our population and making sure those partners are served. And if that makes us move geography places, then we'll do it. Yeah. But we're not doing this because we want to just have great EBITDA lines and great cash flow. And everybody says that. I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah.
But, I've lived this for 4 years. You've been here 6 years.
6 years.
And that is our culture. I mean, from the top down. And I do feel like we run a different ship. It's really hard for someone that's been in the industry when they come over to us to get kind of amified, if you will, and understand that.
Amified.
Like but when they get there, man, the culture is just so lasting, and I think that transcends to our students.
It's great to have waiting lists.
Sure. Yeah.
It's been a long time. I've been in the industry a long time. It's been a long time since we had waiting lists, but that's a certain value there.
Yeah.
And not to just open it up, to be a little more selective and make sure people are ready.
Yeah.
Well, as we get to the end of this episode, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Chats with Charlie, and wondering what is this business of Chats with Charlie about?
Well, this Diet Coke show,
Get out of here.
other than the Coke, is Chat with Charlie and Friends. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify. We're definitely all over LinkedIn. We try to be involved with that, and it's a show. Douglas has been on. I got to get you on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
Rustum a shout out, right?
Yeah.
Jonathan, Jen Lyles, Eric Kate. So many people have been on, and it's more of a show of just talk. Well, Mike's a little bitter. I'm getting all in good time, man. It's like that fine wine.
You'll be the guest that he comes to when he can't get another guest. Mike, let's just be honest. He won't tell you the truth.
Come on, man. Yikes! Anyways, please check us out. EdUp, it was a reason for this. And dude, we got started because we have, like I say, campuses Atlantic to the Pacific, and we couldn't do training. It was hard to get the message out. So we started out like that, and we started to get responses, and we're like, it just kind of organically grew to what it is today. But I appreciate you giving a shout out. Please check us out.
Check it out. Anywhere you get your podcast feed, right?
There you go.
And YouTube.
Anywhere. If you're at it, we're like the, I'm trying to think, was it who chases who with the Trader Joe's, and then Whole Foods chases them on wherever they're at? So
No. I always say the audience will listen to more than one good podcast if they're a podcast listener, and you're doing a great job. I listen.
Appreciate it, brother.
I love the conversations. Highlighting the space is critical. That's why we're here. We serve a lot of students in career colleges, and we do it. There's a lot of great A players out there doing it in the right way, and we got to highlight their work. So
unbelievably well.
Having you guys on is an honor. Douglas, what did you think about this conversation, my friend?
I was looking forward to this one. This was met and exceeded all expectations. And again, like the inner aviation nerd, just is so appreciative of the conversation. So thank you.
Man, we got to get you out to the museum too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we need to do that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Watch out for any microphones you have. He'll kick him off. He's Douglas Carlson. He is head of partnerships at Lead Squared. Douglas, thanks for inviting these guys on the podcast. Charlie, you're always welcome back. And in fact, you got to come co-host with me sometime. It'd be a ball. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to just give him one outro since Charlie said he's the Dr. Dre guy. So here we go. Charlie Parker, Chief Branding and Enrollment Officer, Centura College, and VP of Admin, Mike Lanouette from Centura College. Guys, it's been an honor. Thanks for coming on.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Ladies and
Jonathan,
gentlemen,
keep your feet under the table.
You've just
I called you Jonathan. Douglas. I got Jonathan along. That's Jonathan Alexander. Hello, buddy. Douglas, keep your feet on the table.
And you've still EdUp'd.